Alright, so I saw a video by Supportive Dad where he was asking, what is your first favorite book? And it got me thinking, like, how these books can kind of influence, like, the books you read nowadays. And so it made me look back on some of the books that I've read in the past. So I wanted to share some of the ones that I read, and before you judge, this was back in when I was in college, and basically I could get a hold of the books that I could afford at the time. So basically a lot of these were the ones that were free on the Zon. And so that also is another thing to take in mind, like the access of the books that we have nowadays is crazy. So the first one I want to talk about is A Flame in the Arrow. As you can see by the cover, it is so, like, the covers are different back then. And this one definitely influences my fantasy rec books. And I remember this, and I thought, like, this book went in such a different direction than any book I've ever read. I just absolutely fell in love with it. And I don't know that I've ever found one that's actually been any similar to this one. So if you know of anything that might be similar to it, if you've had read this one, please let me know if you've read any of these, because I feel like nobody has seen these, and I find it interesting. So I have two more. And so my next book that I have is Cypher. This one, I will say, definitely influences my sci-fi books, because sci-fi, like, this one is not like my biggest reads, but it influences a lot of what I read, because I don't like living in the real world. I love, like, the thoughts of, like, humanity going, like, somewhere else and doing something different. So this book, basically, it kind of reminds me of Red Rising. Now that I think about, like, the premise of this book, they modified human beings to be able to do these different things. And so, like, she is modified to have the ability to handle, like, technology and things like that. So it is very interesting. But if you've read this, please let me know. And then my third book is Slave Warrior Princess, and this one definitely falls in for my warrior, like, Greek mythology, Roman books. And I, like, from what I can remember, is like coming from the bottom and making it all the way to the top. And I feel like that's a lot of books nowadays, and I just love the premise. Like, she was like a gladiator, and, like, you don't really see, like, a lot of female gladiators, and this was just such an interesting concept to me. And now that I look, like, when I went to get this picture and I saw, like, some of the reviews, I was like, was it really that bad? But, like, in my head, I'm just like, I love this. Like, there's so many books in these series, and I'm honestly tempted to go back to see, like, does it hold up to what I read. Oh gosh, I think this is probably getting close to, like, almost 10 years ago. I hate to think about that, but I'm honestly going to say, like, definitely go back and see some of your books that you've read over the years, because, like, looking at this, I'm like, I can't believe I actually remember this, like, how long ago I read this. It's so interesting to me. But seeing how they might relate to the books that you're reading now is very, very interesting. So leave some of your favorite books in the comments, like, from, like, the beginning of your reading journey, because I might need to add some to my list, and, like, maybe we have some of the same.